What's up, family? This your favorite cousin. Already know. Back again with episode 28 of Rich Talks. And today we're going to discuss the myth of the lone genius and or the myth of the lone wolf. You know, the reason why we're saying the lone genius is because the path that this person took changed society or made an impact, a greater impact, leading with intelligence or leading with, some sort of intelligence that made a greater impact than just someone being a lone wolf going their own way but not really impacting the world or those around them. So, the lone genius. Why is there such a myth? When we have people like Einstein, Newton, Steve Jobs, Isaac Newton, Steve Jobs, we have all these people and we think that they were able to accomplish these great feats and implement these great things into society all by themselves. When we look at them, or when they're praised, or when we praise them, or we look back into their history, we only recognize just them. But we don't see that it was all a collective effort. And a lot of this gets deep because the collective effort could also be, in a spiritual sense, the collective consciousness of those who think on that frequency. If you think that your thoughts are just guarded, or you think that no one can think your thoughts, or think of that sort, or nobody can telepathically tap into your thoughts, or our thoughts are not all in some kind of realm where you can pick, then I advise you to think deeper. But right now we're just going to talk on the 3D, not the 5D. We're going to talk on the 3D for now. And that their genius was not just a lone effort. Even if you accomplish these feats in a room by yourself, it is not a lone effort. Why? Just like energy is neither created nor destroyed, nothing on this earth is new. So the thoughts, the things that people come up with could not be obtained with just self-knowledge. You have to receive some sort of knowledge from an outside source. Now, if these people came up with these these great people came up with these ideas and concepts on their own, while they're in these rooms on their own, yes, you could say they were alone then, but what if they gained the information that allowed them to get to that point? You see? This information that they were able to build upon was derived from somewhere else. And that information that they were able to, collectively put together to put that information out was derived from another person or persons, which goes to the fact of everything is a collective effort. Whether the collective is there while you're doing it, or the collective helped you gain that information, helped you come up with reasoning. So there's no such thing as a lone genius. Like I said, they might be alone when they are coming up with these things, because that's how their process works. But that is the only aspect of the lone genius. That information has to be derived from somewhere, somebody. So this is the beauty of collaboration that often gets overlooked, overshadowed. Is the beauty of collaboration. You're allowed to take multiple people with multiple points of views, different strengths of knowledge, and bring these things together in order to hopefully benefit humanity. Everything takes a collective effort. That's why, as humans, it's not good for us to specifically isolate for long periods of time, especially if that isolation is not spearheaded by something productive. Everything is a collective effort. No one can do anything on their own. It's impossible. We're not made like that, and we're not built like that. Everything takes everything takes knowledge, and where do you acquire this knowledge? Even if a thought that you have or an idea that you have just popped into your head, in order for you to think on that type of level, had to be opened up from somewhere, correct? You had to be exposed to something, and that something you were exposed to was of someone else. That's where the collaboration begins. Collaborating with a group or using information derived from somewhere else or somewhere else in order for you to come up with your own theories or own product or own whatever the case it is that you're diving into. Using that collaborative effort does not make your ending goal any less. It doesn't make it any less beneficial, any less useful. Nothing. It doesn't. If anything, it helps it because you're backed by other thoughts and ideologies of other people that helped you derive this. It would be more so scary if this person didn't have any knowledge of anything, didn't speak to anyone about anything, didn't know about anything, and they just rambled on. And we were supposed to utilize that information, and that information was supposed to benefit the world. To me, that's dangerous. Because that's when you ask, well, where did you get your information from? Well, who have you talked to? Where did you come up with your thoughts or reasoning? What have you researched? And if a person can't tell you any of that, if it's all just, self-derived, and that was it, that person didn't read any books, that person hasn't communicated with anybody, nothing, collaborated with anybody, nothing, I would be very weary of that person's information. Unless it was greatly, divinely given by God, In that sense, you would know. But in those cases, rarity of cases, where it's actually derived by God from some people, I wouldn't trust it. It's like when you write a book, you have to reference certain things. We reference it because we can go back and double check, or we can go back and expand more on this said topic more in depth from where this person got it from. See, that's a collaborative effort. That strengthens what this person has put out for us to consume. It adds more, I don't know, is validity the correct word? It's like an insurance policy that states that two or more thoughts or two or more people were able to come up with this topic or believe the same thing, it's an insurance policy. So there's nothing wrong with a collaborative effort. I think it's the ego that wants us to be separate, that wants to claim the whole praise for ourselves. This is when we don't want the collaborative effort. Now, there's a difference between that and you wanting to work by yourself. Some people work better by themselves. I'm one of those people who work better by myself. But I never shy away from additional information or anything that can help me from outside people. Because I understand that I don't know everything. And I understand that people know things that I may lack. And those things that I may lack that those people can inform me on and help me on can further strengthen what I do know, how I go about things, how I teach things, and how I receive things. So I'm never scared of that collaborative effort or to gain that information from an outside source. Even though I'm one of those type of people that prefer to work by myself. So is it a lone genius or a lone dummy? I say a lone dummy. I would say that's the people who don't want to listen to an outside source. Those are the people that don't want to gain any information from other people, who don't want to learn from other people, who don't want to share information, who believe they, quote unquote, what do we say, know it all. That's what a lone genius is a lone know it all. To me, honestly, there's no other way to put it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I think the only lone genius that is here is the universal divine, God, you know. That's the only lone genius. Other than that, everything we do comes from some sort of collaborative effort. I believe it's something that should be respected because that's what continues to make the world go around. That's what allows us humans to evolve and not get caught up in evolution. How we're able to build tools for survival. These come in collaborative efforts, not just a lone genius. If you look at people like Henry Ford, it came from a collaborative effort. Even the guy with the light bulb. I just drew a blank. Jesus, what is his name? The light bulb guy. Thomas Edison. That was a collaborative effort. Many people don't realize that it was not Thomas Edison who created the light bulb. Thomas Edison filed the patent for the light bulb. Thomas Edison's company was the one who employed the person who created the light bulb, but Thomas Edison was not the one who created the light bulb. It was a collaborative effort for the light bulb, but the actual person who created it was an employee for him. But see how the light bulb came about? It was a collaborative effort. Thomas Edison had a team. And I'm pretty sure the person who invented the light bulb was a collaborative effort. Even if he worked on the light bulb by himself, he gained information from other people who he had to sharpen his iron with other people. See, that's why there's no such thing as a lone genius. Why? Because even a genius needs to sharpen his iron, and you can't sharpen your iron by yourself. How are you a genius and you don't sharpen your iron? It's just like a butcher. How does a butcher not sharpen his iron for to cut meat? He needs to sharpen his iron. in order to perform his job. And same thing as a quote unquote genius, inventor, creator, philosopher, anybody, producer, anybody. How do they sharpen their sword? You sharpen your sword with another person who's equal or of greater, even sometimes of less. Of, you know, you sharpen your sword with these people. And in that, that is a collaborative effort. So the whole lone genius, it's not true. And if we take a step back to the whole lone wolf, aka people who want to accomplish things by themselves, we weren't created like that as humans. We're created to communicate. We're created to collaborate. That's just how we are built. Like I said, it's the difference between appreciating and respecting being by yourself and allowing those times for you to connect with your thoughts, emotions, and ideas, and that's very beneficial. But to want to carry out every task without the help or thought of others could be detrimental. See, a lot of the reason why people choose the lone wolf path is not necessarily because they prefer to work alone. It's because of, honestly, something shallow, as not wanting to socialize or not having the ability to socialize. And when we say socialize, we're not talking about in a party or something super extroverted. It's just being able to communicate, being able to establish some sort of relationship with another party in order to build upon. That's why a lot of people prefer to be or go down the whole lone wolf path. Like I said, it's not necessarily because they choose to be alone so that they can gather their thoughts, not have, that's different. The specific people I'm talking about are people who are afraid to exercise the skill of communication, scared to exercise the skill of relationships. This takes a skill. This said skill, people are not willing to practice. But this is that said skill that can take you from A to Z. Personally, me, I'm a lone wolf. I like being by myself. Me, I'm an introvert. But I understand the skill and I understand the benefits of relationships. Therefore, I practice them. Because I understand how they can move me along. I see it as a tool. So if I take that along with me preferring my own company, and if I can fuse these two together, it's a springboard. And you say, how is it a springboard? Because now I'm able to collaborate with others and build with others and then take that information and supercharge it while I'm by myself. You see? So if something's a weakness, like collaborating with others and things of that sort, that's not something that we should run away from. That's something that we should run towards. Because ultimately, that's what strengthens who we are. Like imagine if Albert Einstein, imagine if he didn't run, or imagine if he ran from not wanting to learn from others, or anything of that sort. Imagine if that was the case. Well, we have the theory of relativity. You have to say, where did he get this information from? Was it just completely derived and given by God. And if that was the case, I think God would have to give him a little bit more, cause to help humanity than just science. So no, everything is a collaborative effort. To me, honestly, there's no such thing as a lone genius. Everything is a collaborative effort, whether you know you're collaborating with someone or not. When you read a book to gain information about a certain topic, that's a collaborative effort. We can't do everything. We can't do everything on our own. Like I said, as humans, we're not built like that. It's not ingrained in us to do that. We are all a collective. And in this collective, we share information. We build with each other. We grow with each other. We help each other. Like I said, even if you're the type to want to be by yourself, that's cool. But you still gain information from other people. You still, you know, sharpen your iron with other people, and that's what allows you to grow and move forward. And as I said, those who run away from collaborative efforts or don't want to collaborate or don't want to give acknowledgement, I highly believe these are people who have ego first, who are more worried about the ending outcome of people believing that they are just this lone genius and they thought of everything by themselves and nobody helps them and they're the smartest person on earth. But little do they know, we start looking at them as some sort of narcissist. Because you have to ask yourself, was the ending goal to help humanity, to help people move forward, to help this certain topic move forward, or was it to gain praise? And if it was rooted in gaining praise, it won't last long. Universe don't work like that. It's a balanced system. Everything has to be balanced. Even if you think about painters like Leonardo da Vinci and all, well, he was greater than a painter. If we look at Renaissance, the Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci, a lot of things he did on his own, correct? Yes. But was he a lone genius? No. He had teachers. When we look at people like Aristotle, Plato, were these people lone wolves? Maybe when they sat down and actually created their works or created their thoughts and ideologies and philosophies, yes, maybe at that point in time they might have been alone. But to say they gained all this information without an additional teacher, without reading a book from someone, anything, no. I wouldn't believe it. like I say, some of the greatest works come from a collaborative effort because you're allowed more thoughts, more thoughts, more people with different points of views and life experiences, and all these things are able to go to the ending effort. You're allowed to reach more people. Why do you think people like Quincy Jones were so successful? Was so successful in the music industry, especially when it came to his works with the late great Michael Jackson. Thriller was a collaborative effort. Again, Thriller, the album Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller was was a collaborative effort. If you know anything about music, Michael Jackson didn't create that. No, that was Quincy Jones. See, so we praise Michael Jackson for this album, this great album, but little do you know, it was a collaborative effort. Quincy Jones was the producer. This was his album. This was Quincy Jones's album. Michael Jackson was just on it, but this is Quincy Jones's album. See, there goes the collaborative effort right there. Quincy Jones was the producer. Now, how did Quincy Jones expand on this collaboration? He allowed other people in. He allowed instrumentalists in. He allowed other producers in. He allowed engineers and he allowed art directors and he allowed, all these people with great musical minds into this studio to create one of the greatest albums. It was a collaborative effort. It wasn't just him. It was a collaborative effort. That's why Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson, one of the greatest entertainers. Why? It was a collaborative effort with great minds. It wasn't just Michael Jackson. Even the same thing with Beyonce. Beyonce is not the one creating all these records by herself. It's a collaborative effort. She has writers. She has producers. She has engineers. She has a team, a collaborative team that's able to create these great works of art. So you go back to the painters, Basquiat or Leonardo. Well, they paint the paintings by themselves, yes, but who taught them? Who helped them refine their skills? What other artist was able to unlock things in their mind? You had Basquiat, but Warhol was, you could say, not his teacher, but Warhol was a person that Basquiat looked up to. In that collaborative effort. So you telling me Basquiat and Warhol were friends? Or Basquiat looked up to Warhol, but he never looked at his paintings and thought of anything that could help him derive something else while he painted? Or take something further? Or even in reverse, even though Basquiat looked up to Warhol, do you not think that Warhol looked at anything that Basquiat did and was like, I can incorporate that? It's a collaborative effort. Whether it was your intentions or not, it's a collaborative effort. This is the beauty in collaborations. This is the beauty in iron sharpening iron. It gets you to your destination much faster. When you try to strictly rely on yourself, it takes much more time. It's like the mastermind principle, I believe, by Napoleon Hill. And that in order to accomplish your goals in a much faster time, you utilize the brain power and the knowledge of others. Not in a malicious way or anything of that sort, no. But you utilize other people's life experiences, other people's knowledge as your own, and now you're covered in that topic. Now you're covered in that area. And it allows you to get to your goals much faster. Imagine you had a team of 9 other people, you making the 10th, and all these people were diverse in different areas, and they had extensive knowledge in these areas. Now, as a mastermind principle, as a collective effort, now you are knowledgeable in these 9 diverse areas. Right now, that fast. You see how you're able to accomplish your goal much quicker? You see how you're able to think much further, more in depth? You see? Through collaboration. Now imagine if it was just by yourself. Now these years and years and years of experience in each category, you have to go seek for yourself. If you had a team of 9 other people who had 40 years experience in each category, or let's say 10 to make the math easier, 40 years each, what's that, like 400 years? That's not even, that's multiple lifetimes that you would have to live in order to gain all that information for you to come out with your own product or thought or whatever the case. That's over 400 years, about 400 years of life experience. But by the power of collaboration, guess what? The power of the mastermind, you have that 400 years like that. Just that fast. By collaborating with 10 people who have 40 years of experience apiece, that's able to bring that knowledge to you to help you in your efforts. This is why we should not shy away from collaboration. Like I said, it's the difference between wanting to work by yourself, yes. But if you are truly wanting to sharpen your iron, you must collaborate with other people. You must invite the thoughts of other people. You must be open to the help of others and release that ego. A lot of times the reason why we don't want to collaborate with people is because of our ego. And a lot of times when we say ego, it's not this big boastful person. A lot of times the ego could be quiet. A lot of times the ego is what keeps us quiet. That we don't want to break that ego, the death of that ego, in order to change who we are, in order to grow. So the ego is what keeps you comfortable. And if you're not willing to break that comfortability, you're not going to grow. Good talk. Good talk. The myth of the lone genius. Episode 28 of Rich Talks. I had a ball. I appreciate those who listen. This your favorite cousin. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Love and blessings.